Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, traders. This is CloudChartist with your weekly Ichimoku wrap-up for the week ending July 31st. It's now Sunday, August 2nd, getting ready to start off the month of August with some good luck to everyone. We're going to start off with the ES. Looking at the ES, we see that I usually start off with crude and give me a little switcheroo here. Starting off with the ES, we see that this chart is fully bullish in Ichimoku terms. We put in a close above the Tenkan-sen. We put in a small topping tail on this candle. Well, let me get my cursor going. All right, there we go. So the only thing that's not completely bullish about this chart is we're technically in a downtrend, and that's just basic candlestick analysis. We put in this very bullish candle on 2 weeks ago. Then last week, or then the week before last, we put in a bearish candle, changing the trend. Continuing the trend to the upside, but a bearish candle. And then last week's candle, we put in a lower high and a lower low. So technically, we're in a downtrend after the red trend change, potential trend change candle was confirmed. So for bulls, the first project is to get above 20.80.25. That's where the Tenkan-sen is currently. We're at I'm sorry. The bulls are over 20. The bulls need to hold 20.80.25. I'm sorry. It's Sunday afternoon. My head is not quite back into the charts yet. I shall improve as I go through this video. So the bulls need to keep it above 20.80.25 and look for highs above at potential resistance levels like around 21.20, 21.25, and then of course the prior high 21.34. The bear's first project, that's what I was trying to say, is to get it back below the Tenkan-sen at 20.80.25. If we do see sellers come in and price moves below the Tenkan-sen, we do have support at 20.53.88, the Kijun-sen below. And then if we continue lower, we have support at the cloud. That would be in this coming week at 19.87.25. That seems like quite a drop, but it's not really that far away, and it wouldn't be particularly bearish. However, if we do find sellers, we also have the Chikou predicting where we will find support. And the Chikou has support at the top of this candle, if you can see where I'm at. Chikou, this red line representing price time shifted 26 weeks into the past. So we're looking at the Chikou coming into this February candle has support at 20.67.72. So it's about 50% between the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen. And then at the top of the candle, without the wick, which is at 20.56.50 thereabouts, right above the Kijun-sen. So those are some other support levels before we get to the Kijun-sen. And in order for us to go down to the cloud, the Chikou will need to break through the Tenkan-sen, which is at about 20.26.75, 20.27. So that's another potential support area. And we do have a rising cloud to support higher prices in the future. We do have a flat cloud coming up for most of we have a rising cloud in August, then we have a flat cloud in September, so we could see some more sideways action in September, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, let's look at CL. CL is bearish in a downtrend. Came into a prior support level at let's see, that was 46.41. Put in a close at 46.77, so not too far away. And we didn't quite hit that level, but these are just approximate areas of support based on prior support. So we do have this other prior support level, like from this candle where we put in the low. The open of that candle was 44.81, so we can look at that as potential support area as well. The only thing that's not bearish about this chart is the Chicow, the red line over here, time shifted, current price time shifted 26 periods in the past, is inside this candle. So it does have a little bit of support being inside the candle. Also, we have a flat Kijun Sen above, and the Tenkan Sen is still bull cross, meaning that Tenkan Sen is above the Kijun Sen. If I refer to bull cross or bear cross, I'm referring to whether or not the Tenkan Sen is above the Kijun Sen or the Kijun Sen is above the Tenkan Sen. Currently, the Tenkan Sen is above the Kijun Sen, and that is bull crossed rather than bear crossed. So that's about it. Crude looking pretty bearish. If you want to look at the RSI, it's getting a little bit oversold at this point on the weekly time frame. I'll make it bigger so you can see. It's just crossed that line, but you can see that crude can become a lot more oversold. Being just a little bit oversold is not very meaningful with crude. That's the thing about RSI is, in my experience, is it's not very dependable unless you are familiar with how RSI acts on each particular chart. Like, you can't just take RSI signals on any chart and expect them to work the same. Each chart is particular about how it reacts to oversold and overbought conditions. Keep that in mind. All right, let's look at some other tickers. Let's look at the Russell. Russell looking a lot like ES. Balanced here between the Kijun Sen and the Tenkan Sen, has clear resistance to the upside at 1245.50, so keep in mind of that. If it gets over that, we have a gap to fill up here. Let's see, that closed at 1276.60. It's a gap to fill on TF, the Russell. We have a rising cloud, which is bullish, and overall this chart is bullish. So as long as we stay over the Kijun Sen, 1220.40, we can look for a potential test of the Tenkan Sen and then maybe higher. Let's look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is put in a hammer type candle after coming down and tagging the flat Tenkan Sen below. This kind of looks like a pullback to breakout pattern. Usually there's more candles involved in that, so I'm not going to call it a classic pullback to breakout pattern. A pullback to breakout pattern is when we have an existing uptrend that tops due to usually to overbought conditions. Then we get a pullback, a tag of the Tenkan Sen, and then blast higher. It's possible that that will happen here. But it looks like it's possible also that it might need another test of the Tenkan Sen. Or we could just go higher. We could flag sideways, put in some more doji type candles sideways. So we'll see what happens. But overall bullish, except for the flat Tenkan Sen and Kijun Sen, suggesting some sideways action might be due. All right, let's look at the YM, the Dow. You'll notice these index charts are looking pretty similar. The YM closed underneath the Kijun Sen, so more bearish than the other indexes, but still bullish overall. So we have resistance at the Kijun Sen, 17,648, and then resistance at the Tenkan Sen, 17,737. If we get over those, we can easily move higher and perhaps retest this area of around 17,990, and then prior highs around 18,240, thereabouts. We do have a rising cloud in the next few weeks before we get a flat cloud, so it looks like ramp up to sideways, and then this is a very significant ramp up, so we could be getting pretty bullish on the Dow into October, November. So what does that say? That says to me that we could see a rotation back into Dow type stocks out of maybe NASDAQ or a Russell type investments, but we'll see. And I don't even I mean, Russell and Dow, hard to differentiate for me there. So let's go to the metals. Let's look at gold. Gold is bearish. The only thing bullish about it is, well, shall I say, the only thing that's not bearish about gold is that we have these two bottoming tails here. We also have the Tenkan-sen leveling off. So we also have oversold conditions on the weekly RSI. Not quite oversold. But you do see that the character of RSI with gold is that it doesn't really get, it doesn't need to get all the way oversold before it can put in a bounce. Like it gets very close to oversold, gets a bounce. So moving forward, if we see the Tenkan-sen go flat, then we can expect price to move back towards it. If we do get a bounce, the bounce should be limited by the Tenkan-sen above. So if you're trading gold to the upside, be very aware of where the Tenkan-sen is and be cautious, protect your profits when we get to that level, as we could get rejected and sell further. This last week's candle is an inside candle. It's inside the body of the prior candle, so therefore the trend is still down despite the fact that it's put in a higher low. The fact that it's inside means the trend is still technically down for now. Let's look at silver. Silver put in a green doji candle last week, and overall, the chart is bearish. We do have the Tenkan-sen flattening out, so we could continue to get a bounce higher for silver. But 1575 or wherever the Tenkan-sen is opens next week should act as resistance. So if you're looking for to buy the dip or buy silver here, be aware of the Tenkan-sen above. Let's look at let's look at the bonds now. Why not? Pretty mysterious, really, lately, the bonds. All right, so last week, ZN, these are the notes, I should say, 10-year Treasury notes, put in a bullish candle, making bullish progress into the cloud. And we did not get to the weekly Kijun-sen yet, which is at 127.25. So we could have some more room to the upside on the 10-year Treasury notes. We also have the cloud above that, slightly higher, 127.26, 127.27 area. That confluence of the Kijun-sen and the cloud top should be significant resistance to potentially cause a little pullback inside the cloud, but we'll see what happens. Chikou is going to come into Tenkan-sen resistance at approximately 128, 105, so we could get a break over the cloud and then find resistance there. Ooh, 6. I try to get my video done before 6 o'clock so that I don't have this the new weekly candles to look at. Let's look at, but I failed. Let's look at ZB. ZB is bullish and broke through the Kijun-sen resistance, and the uptrend is fully intact. So overall bullish. If we do get a pullback, we can find support at the Kijun-sen at 155.10, and then potentially lower at 152, the Tenkan-sen. Let's look at some corn. My grain bulls had a sad week. corn continued selling, but found support at the bottom of the cloud and closed within the cloud, as the Chikou span over here found support at the top of this candle. Overall, we're in neutral on the weekly time frame for corn, with support at the bottom of the cloud at about 379, and resistance at the Tenkan-sen at 450, and then resistance at the top of the cloud again at 420.50. Let's look at wheat. Wheat is bearish under the cloud in a downtrend. Put in a potential small bottoming tail here, but overall bearish, except for the flat Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen that could attract price higher. Let's look at beans. Beans very bearish. There's a gap right here above, so if we do get some buyers, we could potentially come up here to fill this gap, but I think it looks more likely that we'll come down and test the lows around 923.25 thereabouts. Although we did see some bottoming action where we bottomed previously, so we could trade higher from here. We do have flat Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen, or close to flat confluent up here at the 983.25 area. Well, I'm going to just look at one more chart. I'm going to look at the dollar. Then I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. I have to be somewhere at 6:30. The dollar is put in a doji last week over the flat Kijun-sen and over the flat Tenkan-sen. So we have Kijun-sen support at 96.97 for the dollar. But if the dollar loses that support, then we can look at 95.80 below. If you have other requests for me, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at CloudChartist. And if you are interested in learning Ichimoku charting or joining my chat room, you can also hit me up on Twitter about that, or shoot me an email, cloudchartist@gmail.com, or check out my website, cloudchartist.com. Thanks for watching. Good luck trading this week. Stay safe and enjoy.